Hey, what's up, everybody? Josiah here with EasyCaters.com. Today, just going to do a quick review of today's day trades and also yesterday's. Since I didn't do a review yesterday, there really hasn't been a lot that I've been taking in the last several days just because of the market being off the highs for a little while. And just real quick, I'll recap yesterday. The two big movers yesterday were CNC. And I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I know I have it in this list somewhere. Oh, Disney is the other one I traded yesterday. So CNC, it did a incredible move yesterday, and I didn't capture all of that move. Um, and I would be lying if I told you otherwise. However, relative volume did find the entry signal, and so I wanted to show that how it had this nice pullback into an ascending moving average here, kind of in an uptrend type of situation. So we had this kind of churn in the early part of the morning, broke out of that range, tested it from above, and then shot up above the highs. Then we just kind of drifted lower down to retest those highs as support. You can see here those opening range highs there. And this volume signal came in on the 10, two different bars here, giving you the okay to go long. And so that one worked really well for my target, and then it just rocketed on higher. So I didn't capture all of that, unfortunately, but it was a really nice trade. And then on, so that was CNC yesterday. Disney, it's just been one I've been kind of watching, and it did a little bit more of a complex signal. You would have had to really been watching for it. I just so since there wasn't a lot going on for me yesterday, I had my eyes on some setups that weren't as obvious. I was trying to find a setup that that I could play that since there weren't a lot of signals going on in my kind of setups. But so Disney had this. If we zoom in here, you can see we were drifting back down to the it looks like the close of yesterday. We had a volume signal here earlier in the day, and we were drifting back down. There was this volume signal here as we retested that level. And then we started kind of ranging up and down, just trying to find orders there. And then, so I took this on a break above 62, I think it was, so at 63, and that one worked for 2 hours up into the close yesterday. So that was yesterday's two trades. Like I said, because the market gapping down and so forth, it's just what I consider not ideal situations for my type of trading. It probably works well for other people, but just for my particular trading plan, that's not exactly the type of environment that I love. So my computer's going a little slow here because of the video, but so I didn't have a lot of trades yesterday or today, or for the past several days, as a matter of fact. And but then today we had a couple of good setups. NIM, I was watching off the open because of a early morning volume churn signal. You can see here, NEM, Newmont Mining, or Newmont Gold Corp. And so it had churn on the 5-minute, then it showed up again on the 10-minute, 20, or 15, 20, and 30. And I love this type of setup. So we've got a 30-minute signal that has an inside 15, and the 15 or the 20 inside that has this little inside candle as well. And if you see on the 5-minute here, we kind of drop down to the lowest part of that opening range, and gave a nice little setup signal there at the low end of that range on high churn volume, saying, this is both an attractive risk to reward and a volume signal showing that other buyers are coming in to support price at that location. So this was the signal here, and there are many ways to play this. I really like this 15 the best because of just the pattern here. Volume flare inside, we have a better risk to reward setup, and then the volume flare happens again, signaling that it's time to go, and it's just off like a rocket. And then we had this inside kind of 1, 2, 3 continuation pattern that I talk about. This was basically as it tested the close of 2 days ago. If you can see up here, it paused right there at the close two days ago and dropped back down and tried to test yesterday's high as support, and it didn't even make it that far before volume came in to absorb that selling, and then it was rocketing higher again. You can see on the 5-minute there was another 5-minute 1, 2, 3 continuation after that inside this last candle here, and then we had a pullback, and there's another setup there, and that one worked, and so forth. So Newmont, I was watching that off the open because of the volume. I had no idea that it was going to do this kind of move, but that's the move that's potentially going to be there for these types of volume situations where the volume is telling you that bigger buyers are, or bigger operators at least, are in the market absorbing supply or absorbing demand at those locations. And so you just have to read the story that the chart is telling you, look at what the volume probably means in that context, and take your trade from that information. So very good setup on Newmont. The other one, Starbucks, it had this little pullback. This is not picture perfect or anything, but I took this over let's see here, it was the 29 was the trigger point on the 5-minute. And so this one, was pulling back. It dropped below the moving average, and it's kind of one of the stronger stocks for the day because it's above yesterday's high already. It's above yesterday's close and so forth. So it's just, on a day like today where everything gapped down, you look for, for somebody like me that's trading on the long side, you look for relative strength. This one fit the bill for that. It was, doing a nice little pullback and gave a volume signal, at the high of yesterday. I was pulling back to the high of yesterday at this moving average, and the moving average doesn't necessarily mean anything other than that it's just not as oversold as it, or overbought as it had been. It's just that it's a gauge of trendiness and overbought and oversold and so forth. So I use that as a little bit of a gauge, and then also just look for these support and resistance areas. But anyway, so this is one that worked really well for 2 Rs there. And so it's just been going sideways other than that. So those were the 2 from today. There were several others that, NIM on a opening range breakout basis even was a really good trade. If I can get my computer to catch up to me here. Oh, and there was one other trade, American Express. But anyway, so Newmont, so you can see here that it would have been a nice opening range breakout trade if you'd just taken this with the opening range breakout indicator. Look for that churn to set in the range. We pull back to the low end of that range and then trigger on a break above the high of that range, and it's off to the races. As you can see, this got to 1.5 multiple, 1 multiple, and 1.5 multiple 2, and it looks like it's challenging 2.5 times the opening range there. So Newmont was great. American Express was my loser for the day. And this was just me getting bored, unfortunately. But you can see here, so we had this retracement from the gap down that was happening. We were working our way back up. We pulled back, did this volume signal here at this prior volume signal. I took this on a run up here, and it got to, I think, 1R, and then failed from there. So this one, it honestly was not that great of a setup in general. It had this overhead supply right here, so I mean I should have known better, but anyway, I'm obviously susceptible to the mistakes as well. So that's one where I was just kind of getting bored, and so I went ahead and took that one, and so that one trailed me out for half an hour loss. So that one's American Express. Nice little volume signal. Just sometimes those are not in ideal locations where you get the volume signal and the ideal risk to reward. And I should have seen that pretty obviously there, but sometimes your mind plays tricks on you. So, oh well. Ben, let's see here. I think this is one where I was actually looking at the longer term chart. So Ben is in this kind of daily pullback, had a volume signal here indicating there's some support at this prior pivot area, volume signal there, volume signal coming back in here. So if this holds today, which it may not, we may need to come back down and find support down at these volume levels. But if this holds here, this could be a good swing long, especially if the market gets itself back into shape here. So that was a swing I saw on Ben. Mo, I just noticed this had opening range churn. You can see here on the 30, the 20, the 15, the 10, and the 5 all had these churn bars at the open. And then opening range breakout worked really well on the short side here. And you can see it got to almost to 1.5 times the opening range. And then it reversed from there. Let's see, Diz, that was from yesterday. And M, let's see here. M was another opening range churn bar. You can see all these higher time frames. And we broke down and got to 1 times the opening range, and that's where it found support. You can see several candles there testing the low of that 1 times multiple. So for your opening range breakout traders, this is I really like the relative volume signals as a indication of the best stocks for the day to get into for these types of trades. And so that's a good trade there on M. AZN. This one had churn at the open, and it's gotten down to this 1 times multiple as well. Might be able to work its way down further later as the day progresses. But you can see here that opening range churn on the higher time frames that broke down and gave you that nice downtrend. DVN. This is one I was looking for as a swing as well. You can see there's a volume signal here at this area of another volume signal and a lot of range behavior here. And so this one is kind of in a little bit of a daily uptrend that is trying to form. And so this could be a potential swing long from here with a a break above this daily level up here. And your potential target is up here around 35, maybe first target here at the highs here of 33. That's looking like it's getting a little bit more attractive as a swing trade there if we can hold these lows and break above that high. KHC, let me do AMD first, since my computer is being slow with this video. This one was another high churn open today. You can see these churn bars on the open, and on the 10 and the 5 minute we had the breakdown, and that's gotten almost to its 1 hour target here, 1 times the opening range, and it reached the half range right here, and you can see there was some support there that it finally broke down, and now it's working its way down farther. KHC, I think this one was one I was going to mention from yesterday, actually. I don't think there was anything set up on this one. I forgot to go over this one earlier. So let me zoom back out on my time frames here. You can see there was a little bit of a kind of a fake out here where we had a downtrend developing. We tried to go lower here, broke that, and then that started the reversal. And then we got up here into the range of this one, broke above that, and that led to a nice uptrend for the rest of the afternoon there. You can kind of see today it's kind of looking like a nice double bottom type of pattern here, with volume telling you exactly where the lows are on this 10-minute chart. Let's see what else I had here. Twitter. I just had these stocks pulled out that I was kind of looking at different signals on. So Twitter had some opening range churn here as well. Really high churn on the 15. And the 30-minute opening range broke down and got to 1 times your risk almost immediately here. And then now it's breaking down and getting to 1.5 times, and we'll see what it does the rest of the day here. And SE today had high opening range churn as well. You can see all that on the 30, 20, and 15. 10 over here as well. All of those breakdowns look like they would have worked really well. And you can see here that this one got to almost to 1.5 times your risk, definitely to the 1 times or the 1 hour target before finding enough support to get a reversal back up here to the low of the opening range. And you can see volume came back in to push it back down right there at the opening range low. And we'll see what it does the rest of the afternoon. But anyway, that's the review for today and yesterday. Sorry I didn't get a video put together for yesterday. Just thought I'd recap what I did. I haven't been trading as much, so don't have as much to talk about, but I thought I'd recap the last couple of days and go over those signals with you. If you guys have any questions, leave me a comment, and if these help in any way with your analysis, please give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, and we will talk to you tomorrow. Thanks.